Alright folks, what's happening? Lee Richardchik here from Yoga at Ascend, based out of Pittsburgh. Excited to be getting some content for you uploaded on our Ascend to Go platform. So you can get what you need when you need it under any circumstance. I'm going to go ahead and lead us through about a 30-minute power yoga practice. We're going to do a little bit of flowing, a little bit of holding poses up on our feet, a little bit of groundwork, and some cooling down as well. This is probably going to be more like an intermediate to advanced yoga practice. I'm going to make some assumptions on your knowledge of yoga lingo. I'm not going to break too many things down, so keep that in mind. If you're new to the yoga practice, this might not be the place for you to start, just to give you a heads up. In terms of props, you'll pretty much be fine without any kind of prop at all, but if you prefer to use a block or two or a strap, you're certainly welcome to incorporate those, but they're not necessary for what we're about to embark on. Let's go ahead and get started in child's pose. Turn over, face your mat, get nice and comfortable, and settle in. And we're not going to spend too much time here because we're in a compressed time frame, but it's still important to integrate at the beginning of any kind of yoga practice. So find a nice comfortable position here and tune into the sensations that your body's giving you here and now. And of course, begin to tune into your ujjayi breath, that most critical component of our yoga practice. If you're not already, begin to direct your inhales and exhales through your nostrils. Not really concerning yourself with the rhythm of your breath, but the depth of your breath. So your inhales and exhales should be even in their duration. And when you breathe in entirely. And when you breathe out completely. The depth of your breath will lead you deeper into the physical practice, and it will dictate the pace at which you move through the asanas. A couple more moments here to experience the depth and steadiness of your ujjayi. When you're ready to move, with your next inhale, find all fours. And if you've practiced with me before in real life, or this is the first time you're joining me, I always like to encourage play at the beginning of class. So go ahead and take any movements that feel good to you. You can simply sway your hips side to side, maybe take a couple rounds of cow-cats, anything that's jiving with you here and now under these circumstances. Explore those movements. There is nothing right or wrong here, and every time we show up on our mat, it's going to be a different experience. So whether you've moved earlier this day or this is the first time you've moved in some time, every time we show up on our mat, circumstances are changing. Have no expectations. Tune into the here and now. Over the next couple moments, find stillness, and let's start to add a connection to breath and movement with some core contractions. So after finding stillness, extend your right arm long in front of you and lift your left leg behind you. Right arm is strong and reaching forward. Left toes are facing the ground and curling towards the front edge of your mat. Left arm straight and strong. Fingers spread wide. Nice substantial integrated roots. And now we move. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee, and then take 3 more rounds of those contractions on your own. Nice long inhales to extend, complete deep breaths out to draw in. After your third round of contractions, return to all fours and immediately get ready to switch sides. We're not going to spend too much time between shapes and between sides here. We're going to move right into it. But again, we're going to pause for a moment and find that strength in stillness. Again, reaching the left arm long in front of you, driving that right heel back, trying to keep the leg straight. Inhale, reach and extend further. Exhale, draw in. Again, a nice, deep, complete inhale to extend. Exhale to bring everything into the center, and then take 3 more rounds of those contractions on your own, and then find your first downward facing dog of this mini practice. So make your way back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, after taking your third round of contraction on the other side. When you get to downward facing dog, take a couple moments to settle in. This is another one of those spots where it's good to tune in to what's happening here and now. For many of us, this is a very familiar spot. If you've been practicing for a while, you've been here hundreds, if not thousands of times. And if you're newer to the practice, get to know this spot. And as lightly as you can, don't stomp your foot. Lightly pick your right foot up, place it between your hands, keep your left hand low, and with an inhale, reach your right hand high overhead. And I'm just going to reorient myself on the mat here so I continue to speak to you and I'm speaking to the wall behind me. Make sure that your top arm stacked over your bottom arm. Make sure that you're pressing your left heel back so that back leg's straight, unless you want to drop the left knee down to the ground and untuck the toes to do a little bit less. Do make sure that you're still breathing here. Let's all take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, release your hand down to the mat. Press the earth away from you. Don't drag your right foot as you take your leg back to a three-legged dog. If you're looking for an early back bend, go ahead and flip your dog. More or less is entirely up to you. There's not a better route, a route that indicates a more advanced practice. It's all about being honest and working in the moment. That's what's most advanced. If you have flips start to come back over, everybody as you exhale, lightly land in downward facing dog. Settling back into our home base. Simply pedaling out the heels can be enough, shaking out the head. Again, whatever feels best to you. Smooth the breath back out, and let's build those couple movements on the other side. Again, try not to kick your left leg behind you or lift your hands off the ground. Simply pick your left foot up, use your core, and place it as far forward as possible. It's okay if your foot doesn't get all the way up. That's where we're working towards. And we'll twist the other way. Right hand low, left hand high overhead. Remember, you can do less. You can float the top arm forward. You can take a little bind here. So even if there's something that I don't explicitly cue, speak to it. Again, do what you need to do. Especially if you've been practicing for a while, I trust you to trust yourselves. Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, release your hand down to the mat. Get high up on your back toes, press the ground away from you, and take the left leg back this time, peeling open or flipping your dog. Remembering that symmetry is not what we're looking for either. Take what's occurring on each side of the body as a unique experience. Do make sure that your right toes aren't turning out to the side. They're facing straight ahead so that ankle's not turning. Substantial, mindful, integrated roots at all times. If you have flips start to come back over, and everybody use your next exhale to bring the left toes up to the back of your left wrist and step your right toes up to the back of your right wrist for a brief rag doll. We're not going to be soft and still too long, but it's always important to remind ourselves that this practice has two sides. It has the effortful, powerful side, and it has the soft, surrendering side. They're both important, so treat all moments with the same level of attentiveness and same deep, connected attention. If you are moving around in your ragdoll, come back to center. Release your hands if they're anchored anywhere and toe heel your feet back together to touch. Next two movements are important. Don't skimp on them. With your next inhale, lift to a half lift to a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release, flat palms, Uttanasana. Again, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release. We'll add on now. Inhale, sweep up, reach up, look up. Full exhale to fold forward, taking your time. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release. One more half sun A. Inhale, sweep up, reach up, look up. Maybe take a slight back bend. Exhale, release. Fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, take your first vinyasa of the practice. High to low push-up, up dog to downward facing dog. Remember that you can always skip the entire vinyasa if you want to do less. Lower to your bellies or drop your knees if you need to modify, or jump to a low push-up if you want to intensify. The vinyasa, again, is always something that evolves. It's dynamic. Don't just do what you always do. No autopilot. With that in mind, let's take 2 more rounds of Surya Namaskar A. We'll do one together, and then I'll let you all turn loose and find your own pace. So whenever you're ready, inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep up, reach up, look up. Exhale, release, let it all go. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, vinyasa, your style. Again, if you're jumping or stepping, try to stay as light and silent as possible. Whenever you get back to downward facing dog, take that sequence one more time on your own. And again, it doesn't matter how fast you're moving, it matters that you're moving with the depth of your breath. Again, I said we're really going to get after it in this little 30-minute flow. So after you finish your first round, or your second round rather, of Sun A's, take either crow pose or child's pose. Perhaps a forearm plank if you're looking for a middle ground. So crow pose, child's pose, or forearm plank. It'll be our only opportunity for Bakasana, our only arm balance opportunity. So take it if you want it. Take it for another maybe 5 to 8 rounds of your own breath. And then we'll all meet up in child's pose. Crow pose, child's pose, or forearm plank. Forearm plank's a great spot to build strength from head to heels, nice prerequisite strength. Bakasana, of course, there for you as well. And then child's pose is where we're all going to meet. And we're not going to stay in child's pose long, so see how directly you can reattach that smooth, steady ujjayi and reattach to the present moment. So not reviewing the flow that we have just done, not anticipating what's ahead. Remember, at any point in time, you can take care of yourself if you need water, to stay in a restful shape, to towel off, make an adjustment. Please don't put any pressure on yourself to do more or take more than you need from this practice. But when you are ready to move again, find downward facing dog. And we're just going to take one round of it to finish our warm up here to really get our hearts going, our bodies warmed up. We're going to take one round of extended sun salutation B. Whenever you're ready, from downward facing dog, inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, take your vinyasa with precision every single time. So if you start to lose precision, don't worry about doing more. Back things off. As you get to down dog, right foot forward. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, hands to the mat, vinyasa, only floating the leg if you can keep the vinyasa precise. As you get to down dog, left foot forward, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, hands to the mat, take your vinyasa. When you get to downward facing dog, first opportunity to invert yourself. Headstand, forearm balance, handstand. Again, a forearm plank's there for you for prep work. Whatever you need, 5 to 7 rounds of your own breath. And again, I mentioned we're going to hit it and get after it in this mini flow here. It's a lot of intensity. If you don't need an inversion right now, back off. You could hop into another plank. You could try to take a pike up, straddle up, hop up. Dolphin's pose is a great precursor shape to a forearm balance. Again, take what you need for another maybe 5 rounds of breath. If you are upside down, same engagement as somebody in a plank, from head to heels and everywhere in between, engaged. Breathing, regardless if you're doing less or more. Equally important. Another couple rounds of breath right where you're at. Try to exit your poses as mindfully as you got into them. And take a moment in child's pose to recover. Well done, everybody. Way to stick with it so far. Check in with your breath and your attentiveness to the sensations that you're experiencing right here, right now. When you're ready for a little bit more movement, make your way back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, as lightly as you can, step your right foot forward, inhale to a crescent lunge. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, twist to the right. Palms twisting into one another to help you stay strong through the upper body, to help you rotate a little bit more. Flesh on flesh connection. Back leg strong or soft in the knee if you need to do a little bit less. Remember, less is always there. Breathing through these held shapes. This is where we get what we need from this practice. This is where we take things a little deeper, a little bit further. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, come around to warrior two. Yeah, I'm going to reorient myself on the mat so I can continue to face you. Don't pay mind to me. Pay mind to your Virabhadrasana 2. Pulling the left hip back to square the waist and chest to the left side of your room, of your space. Stay deep in your front knee. Flip your front palm with an inhale. Reverse your warrior. Exhale. Find supported side angle. Finding a nice strong line up the left side of the body. From here, you can extend the left arm forward. Maybe float both arms forward. You can work to a half, a full bind, whatever you choose. Take what serves you best here and now. If you've gone further, start to make your way out of it. Start to reach the left hand high. Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, hands come down on the mat. Frame your front foot. Shift your weight to your left hand. And with an inhale, take your right side body high for a side plank, Vashisvasana. Hips are stacked here. So again, I'm going to reorient myself. Left hand's low, right hand's high. Right hip's on top of left hip. You could float the top leg. You could drop the bottom knee or anything in between. Top arm can float forward if you choose. Make sure that your left wrist is slightly in front of your left shoulder or stacked underneath. Never having the shoulder go in front. Controlling ourselves at all times so no flops. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, find a high push-up and pause. As slowly as you can, lower down on to your belly with control, breathing the entire way down to the ground. Hell yeah, well done. No resting, no breaks here. We're getting right into it. We're hitting it and getting it this evening or morning or whatever time of day it is for you. Locust pose, feet together, big toes and heels touching, palms down, chin tucked, lift off the mat. If you ever need to do a little bit less, do a little bit less. Let's take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, release down, cheek to one side. You can always wiggle your hips a little bit or bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs. Choice is entirely yours. Go ahead and let your legs fall along. If they're moving, find stillness. Bring your forehead or chin back to center. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes with the same precision that you lowered down. With one inhale, lift yourself up to a high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Back home, settle in. Find your breath again. Make sure you brought it back up off the ground with you. Smooth the mind back out, especially after all that effort we just went through in those held shapes and that belly back bend. Again, no expectation of symmetry, working in the moment. As lightly as you can, step your left foot forward. Inhale as you step and sweep up to Crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, one of my favorite shapes. Super strong from front to back, top to bottom. So get high up on your back toes, creep the left foot forward and sink further down. Drive the right heel back, reach the fingertips forward, up skywards. And then bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, twist to the left. Another deep inhale. Nice controlled exhale around to that warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Right hip pulling back so that your waist, chest are in line with the right side of your space. Make sure that doesn't cause the knee to buckle in, the left knee straight ahead, right over your front middle toe. Stay deep in your front knee. It can be tempting to lift out as we make this transition. The depth in this knee is going to set you up for success in this following shape. So from here, flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. So notice if you lift it out, keep sinking down. As you exhale, find supported side angle. Again, keep the side angle and only do more if it serves you. Only do more if you can maintain alignment. Depth comes after alignment. It comes with continued practice. There's no judgment. There's no timeline that you have to go further. Get there when it's safe in your body, when it makes sense in your body. If you have gone further, start to make your way out of it. Reach your right hand high. Look up. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, hands to the mat, frame your front foot, pause. Weight is going to come to the right hand this time. Left side of your body spins open. Second side, side plank. Vashisvasana number 2. Again, don't let the top hip go behind you or collapse to the ground. You want your hips to be stacked. 3 L's to success here. Lift through the bottom hip, look up, and lengthen through the crown of your head. And sure as hell, you're still breathing. Really nice work, everybody. Again, controlling ourselves at all times. No flops. Look up. Reach up. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, find a high push-up and pause. And again, we're going to lower as slowly as we can. So don't let your hips sag down. Don't let your hips pike up. Lower with control, getting your entire body as best you can to get to the mat at the exact same time. Well done, everybody. And again, we're sticking right with the energy, right with the action. Bring your forehead or chin back to center. Locust pose, number 2. If you feel safe and warmed up enough for it, you could take a bow pose. Choice is yours, locust or bow. When you're ready, inhale, lift off the ground. All kind of different locust variations you could take. Take the one that's best for you. Take one more inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, lower down. Cheek to one side. You can release the bind if you have it. Windshield, wipe your legs, wiggle your hips if that serves you. And we have one final belly back bend to take. It'll be our third and final belly back bend here. Any variation of locust, full bow, perhaps the other side a half bow if that's where you worked on the first side, or you can rest. Choice is yours. Final belly back bend, 5 to 7 rounds at your own breath. Inhale, lift off the mat when you're ready. If you chose omission, that's a great choice. Laying there and breathing is just as challenging. If you are working in full bow, you don't have to have your knees touch, but draw them towards one another. Press the shins back. Everybody's gaze is down, particularly those of you in locust, to protect your neck. Those of you in bow, you're going to lift a little bit to keep the eyesight slightly down. Again, maybe another breath or two, and then lower down, cheek to one side. Well done, everybody. Any softness that you need, take it. And let your legs fall along if they're moving. Bring your forehead or chin back to center. Press down to the tops of your feet this time. This time with our inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to make our way to boat pose Navasana for one and only one round. Look at the space between your hands and step, float, or crawl there. Landing in boat pose Navasana. We're going to take it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, breathing, 3, 2, 1, cross your ankles, plant your hands, one toe, no toe, maybe dangle the earring, come back through, land, uncross your legs, plant your feet on the ground, and as fast or as slow as you like, make your way on to your back. Breathing the entire way down if you're going slow, a little bit of bonus core work, try not to let your feet come off the ground. As you get down here, we're all going to work reclined pigeon. Particularly if this is something that you don't normally take, this could be kind of nice. So feet stay on the ground. Right ankle crosses over the left thigh. Make sure the nub crosses the thigh. Right hand reaches between your legs. Left hand reaches behind your left leg. Draw the knee in towards your chest. I think this pose is more difficult because we're in charge. You're in charge of the action. You'll notice right away if you lose that sensation in the hip. So don't lose that sensation. Stay engaged. Continue to breathe. And we're not going to stay here super long, so take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, release. Keep the foot crossed over the thigh. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, let's take a supine twist. So drop the right foot down to the ground. The right toe should be facing the left wall. You didn't do anything at all with your legs. They just collapsed to the left. Reach your arms out to the side. Take your gaze over to the right. I haven't really mentioned it, but we want to be mindful of our drishti, our eyesight, at all times. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, come back to center. As you get here, uncross your legs, let your feet bop around, move your knees side to side, whatever's best for you here. A la post half pigeon. Take those counter movements, get the blood flowing. Then switch sides. Left ankle nub across the right thigh. Left hand between the legs. This time it's the right hand behind the right thigh. Fingers interlace. Draw in. Feel that action to the outside of the left hip. And again, we're not going to stay here long, so pull in and find that action. Your right leg can be straight to the sky, the knee can be bent. If you're at home, close to a wall, you can put your foot into the wall to give you a little extra action inwards. Choice is yours. So at home, remote yoga practices do offer us some advantages in terms of props and aids to our practice that in the studio we don't get. So there's good stuff all the way around. You just got to be flexible, adaptable, just like our practice. Interlace your fingers, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just drop this shape over to the right. Take your gaze over to the left. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, come back to center, uncross the leg, take whatever kind of counter movements you need. As you get here, we're going to take our final active shape, which is going to be a happy baby. So go ahead and gather your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. Reach your hands between your legs, grab the insides of your feet, and draw your knees down to the outsides of your body. Final chance to customize and self-express and explore what your body's giving you here and now. If you'd like to roll around, straighten your legs, whatever you need. but you are breathing Ujjayi breath to and through this final active shape. That's how it is in every practice. From start to finish, our breath is our goal. If you are moving around, come back to center. Release your feet. Gather your knees into your chest, knees to nose, nose to knees. One final deep breath in. And as you exhale, release, let everything go, finding a Shavasana. And again, I know this was a super condensed practice, but we got a little bit of everything in here. Hopefully you were able to get what you need, and thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you all next time. Enjoy this final few moments of complete relaxation. Thanks for joining me, people. I think this is going to be edited out, but if not, thanks for joining.